All right, guys. Happy New Year. Wow. The 4th of January, the year's gone by. Who would say that 2023 and just time in general seems to be going faster and faster these days? I don't like years go by like this. It just blows me away. But I'm super excited because this is one of the rituals that I've been doing for many, many years. Um, Whitney and I started doing these back when we started OptiV. I'd been doing them years before that with Tony Robbins in my personal development. And I love to plan. I love to strategize and think about the future and get creative. It's one of my favorite things to do. So I'm super excited to share this with you guys. Um, just want to make sure that you did have the printout. There is a link in the chat. And if you go to that Facebook page, it's one of the first things, one of the first posts there. You'll see the document. It's a Google Doc. You can print it out. It looks like this. Is Life by Design. So please have that. That's very helpful. If not, I'll be sharing my screen and this is going to be recorded so you can go back, but it's helpful. You can just use a yellow pad and some notes if you want, but it's nice to have the worksheet because it's organized in sections and chunks. Those of you that, yeah, hey, Whit.
Hi, I just want to say I'm in the Facebook. I just clicked on that link. Now I'm looking for where the forms are. I'm like, hold my hand through this. Sorry. So go to the link. No. Where
On
do
the
I
very
find
first post or the one
okay.
of the one in
Discussion?
the discussions, you'll
Okay.
see an introduction that
Here's the
says
worksheet. Oh, well,
worksheet.
can I paste that in so that everyone can just grab the worksheet or
Sure, absolutely. And
okay,
I
I'll see.
also made you co-host. So if you could, when you get dialed in and you're settled in, help me let people in as they come
Oh
in.
yeah, I know.
Still, people are still flowing in right now.
Yeah. If I see
Um,
anybody come in, um I'm gonna pop this here.
okay, great. Thank
This
you.
is the link. This is the Google Doc for you, Lisa. If you didn't get it already, you probably did. Just
Yeah,
takes me a while.
okay, cool. Put a 1 in the chat if you do have your worksheet, if you could for me, just to get a sense. And again, you can do it on a notebook or a yellow pad or whatever, but the worksheet will be helpful. Okay, Naomi, she's got hers in her winter wonderland. Get ready to make a snowman there. Who else is, if you got a 1, Lisa, put 1 in the chat if you've got your worksheet and you're ready to go. Chris has got his, awesome. Jackie, sweet. Okay, looks like most of you guys got it. And if not, this will be recorded. You can go back and review it. First, I want to say, welcome and congratulations for being here. The statistics of the number of people that set goals, everyone sets a New Year's resolution. I'm going to stop this. I'm going to start this. I'm going to be better at this. But when's the next time they look at that goal? Or do they even write it down? Usually not. It's something they just say in their head, say to a friend, and never follow through. So New Year's resolutions are very impotent. They say statistically about 5 to 10% of people do set goals. And of those, not a lot of people write them down, but just by not setting a goal intentionally and consciously, like we're going to block out a couple hours here and we're going to get deep, we're going to get clear, and we're going to get really clear on several areas of our lives. So by writing it down, that's the first step. That's like setting a goal. The second part is achieving the goal. And that's not an event. That's not going to happen tonight. Achieving these goals are going to happen all year long, every month, every week, every day, right? So I'm going to empower you with tools tonight to get the big picture, that year focus. And then I'm going to give you some tools of how to get into a rhythm of checking in and tracking and making sure. And then in next week, a week from today, actually, I'm going to do another workshop on life management and time management and how do you execute and get those things done. So this is going to be really fun. So congratulations for being here, making the time for yourself, making your health, your life a priority. I'm going to be using a process that I've tested with thousands, literally thousands of people have gone through this process and had phenomenal results. We're going to focus on what we call the trilogy of optimal health, which is healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy finances. And there's important areas to have balance, to not just focus on one area. So we're going to focus on all 3 areas of our lives. And we're going to show you a way to make it sustainable and how it integrates into your routine. Now, there's going to be 4 steps. If you've got the worksheet, you'll see on the front page, it says there's 4 steps to this process. Step 1 is review, which is looking back on 2023. Step 2 is reflect on where am I now in this present moment. Step 3 is to visualize, and we're going to do a little bit of a shamanic, kind of a spiritual journey into the future. And we're going to set goals from your heart space, from a higher space. And we're going to set very clear and compelling goals. And then the 4th step is we're going to prioritize. We're going to break those down. We're going to simplify them. And we're going to pick those top ones that we can really focus on and work on to achieve. So that's kind of the outline of what we're going to do. Before we dive into the process, I thought I might take a minute and just kind of share a couple terms that I'm going to use and kind of give you, I pull from Webster's dictionary, but these are I'm going to kind of frame it into my context of how I'm organizing things. So first of all, we are going to talk about values, and the values are the things and the priorities that are most important to you. So put in the chat, like a couple of the values that are most important to you. Like, what would you say is one of your top one or two values? Often people will say something like health or family, freedom, big one for me. Um, you know, nature could be a value. There's all kinds of things that are important to us. And the way you can tell whether something is, and this is from page 6, if you want to look ahead, I'm just kind of jumping ahead to these definitions because I want to give you context as we go into the process and the work. The way I define values is those things that are most important and that what motivates our behavior, it motivates our decisions. So if you say that family is important to you, but you don't spend any time with your family, that's not a true value. A true value is if you look at your calendar and you look at your checkbook, where do you invest? Do you invest time in health? Do you invest time in community? Do you invest money in health and community? Travel, those are the things. Look at where you invest. That's going to tell you where your true values are. The other things could be aspirations that you want to turn into a value, but they're right now not. A vision. A vision has a couple of different description here. It's the faculty to see. That's just the ability to see vision. But when we're talking about experiencing a dream or somebody goes into a trance, and we're going to do this visualization, it's kind of like we're going into a trance or an NLP type state where we're going to see a future of something that we want to create. It's using your imagination or wisdom to envision something. Then the next step is once you have a vision, then you got to break it down into a goal. And I'm going to break into 2 types of goals. A goal is basically an objective or an ambition, something that you want to create, a desire, or the destination of a journey. It's a place to get to. It's something you can actually check off. But I'm going to break it down to 2 types of goals. Some of the goals that we might talk about tonight are going to be SMART goals. They're specific, they're measurable, they are attainable, they are relevant, and they're time bound. Everyone's probably heard that acronym. But other goals might be more of a process goal, like an ongoing goal, like a habit or a ritual or a routine. Or it could be a project, a smaller goal that's in service of a bigger goal. Does that make sense? So we're going to talk a little bit about all of these as we go. So diving into the process, we're going to go to that first page and we're going to start with step 1, the review, and how this is going to work. Now, I did encourage those of you that are self-starters and maybe you're a little more organized and you've already downloaded the form. You could have worked on these first 2 steps in advance, but I'm going to give you a short enough time that you can do it. You can get an experience of it, but for sake of, staying within a reasonable time tonight, you might want to go deeper. You might want to take longer. Let me give you a couple tips on how I do my review if I really want to go deep. I'll take out my calendar and I'll scan through the whole year. And while I'm doing it, I'll write down the highlights. I'll write down the lowlights. I'll write down the lessons. I'll write down the experiences that I had. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to capture highlights, accomplishments, milestones, challenges, even difficult things. Like a milestone could be a difficult thing. It could be a death. It could be a breakup. It could be, for us, a milestone last year was losing the cabin, and having to evacuate in March. March 8th is a milestone date in my mind for 2023. I'll never forget March 8th. That was the day we had to bail it was like a captain trying to save the ship and saying, okay, we got to take the exit strategy. There's no saving this thing. We got to get out of here. So those could be milestones, but then also with these milestones, these challenges, they could be lessons. They could be important distinctions. They could be like, wow, I'm never going to do that again. So as we're going through, I'm going to play some music and I'm going to let you kind of just relax and go through. Now, if you do have more time, in addition to going through my calendar, I also like to go through my photos because that brings back all the memories, all the fun things I did. So if you want to go deeper on this, and I got to say, most people skip this step. They just jump, they finish the year. They don't celebrate. They don't acknowledge themselves. They don't really, do a good job of really, integrating, if you will. And I got to say that doing this review is critical. It's so, so helpful. So I'm going to encourage you to do it. I'm only going to give you 10 minutes. Maybe we can go 15. We can see how we're doing. If we have enough time for 15 minutes, but I'm going to start with like 10 to 12 minutes. And I'm going to encourage you to get the highlights, get the big stuff, get the important stuff. Okay. So before we turn on the music, let me just check in. Are there any questions on this first step? Step one, I'll just read it for you. Step one is we're going to review 2023. You're going to go back and on this form, there's two sections that says year in review, highlights and lowlights. And you get to complete this and just put down all the important milestones that happened to you. And you're going to want to do it in the different areas of your life, your body, your mind, your finances, your business, etc., relationships. And I'm going to play some music while we're doing that. You're going to take some time. And then afterwards, we'll have a quick moment to share, and then we'll go to the next section. So before we go off, before I start the music, are there any questions on this first step? Go ahead, Whit.
Mine's more of a logistical question. Are you streaming this into Team Wellness live?
No, I'm recording it here, and then I'm going to put it back into the event page.
Okay.
And that's where the recording will be, is on the event page. And then you guys can review it, or you can forward it to someone who wanted to see it that didn't make it live. Okay, any questions about the process? Okay, terrific. All right, here we go then. I'm going to start the music and let you guys go ahead and get started. You're thinking about highlights, lowlights, milestones, important things that happen over the year. Can you hear that, Whit? Great.
A little bit. It's not in your computer, but that's okay. At least we know that there's music, and you'll let us know. You'll tell us when it's time to wrap up, right? Give us maybe a 1-minute notification before it's time.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. I'm jumping in. I'm going to do mine. So fun.
Special events, travel, community, activities. What are your favorite things? What are the things that you value the most? Any major investments, purchases? Did you upgrade something? Did you get a new car? Did you put some money into retirement? Did you take money from retirement? Like what happened financially? Did you pick up a part-time job? Did you grow your business? Did your business shrink? It's all good. Capture it. And don't forget the lessons. Like, what did you learn? If something difficult happened, what you learned from that? That's where you learn the most is usually from our challenges. Getting new partnerships, new clients, new coaches, new advancements, certifications. Did you get a tooth crowned like I did? You see any great concerts, great shows, great events? Okay, we got about 1 minute left. Do me a favor, if you need a couple more minutes, put yes in the chat because we have enough time. We can go a little further. How you guys doing? Put yes in the chat if you'd like a couple more minutes, if you'd like me to extend it for one more song. Yes, okay. Were there any spiritual significant events? Weddings, funerals, ceremonies, um, major changes in your life, big decisions, starting something, stopping something, getting sober, big stuff. Anything big happened to your family? Jasmine and Marina got their visa and their residency cards. So now they're official US citizens. Things like that, Okay, a couple more minutes. Did you join any networking groups? Did you find any new mentors? Did you read any important books? Important personal development seminars, activities, workshops, festivals? Did you start any really important routines? Jazzy and I started our date night and we got really consistent with that. That was really fun. Did you join a new yoga studio? Did you make any new friends? Okay, one more minute. We're coming down the home stretch, 30 seconds. Those holidays, how are those holidays? Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. And now here we are, New Year's. Any fun trips? I went to Vegas. That was pretty cool. Saw an old friend. Saw a music festival. Okay, 10 seconds. Okay. All right, let's circle back up, come back to, if you can, take your camera off. It's great to see your faces. And what we're gonna do, no one's been trying to get in. Wait, have you been keeping an eye on the,
No, I'm sorry. I got sucked into my,
okay, I don't blame you. I was doing it too.
sorry.
All right, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna give you guys just a couple of minutes to share, like maybe just a couple people, 2 or 3 people who feel like wanting to share, looking back, kind of take a breath, think about all the things you just wrote down. And what were some things that you'd be willing to share with the audience, with the community here? What was a big win? What was a big challenge? What was a big lesson? Let's just have a couple people. I'll set the timer for just like 1 minute. Raise your hand if you'd like to share and then just come off of mute. Okay, let me set the alarm real quick for you. And reset.
So I only got through March. I've got a lot to go. I'm really excited about it. I forgot that, first of all, I was in Puerto Rico at this time last year. And some of the people that were in my life and some of the things that I was doing. And then for my birthday, I went to Costa Rica to Rhythmia and I had my computer and my cell phone stolen, which I forgot.
I remember that.
And I'm trying to figure out if MJ quit last year or if it was the year prior, because she's on my calendar, but I was coaching. I had a coach at the time and I had 2. So I wrote down, who, what I was, actively involved in, but it was pretty light on the business, heavy on the travel.
Yeah, that's another thing. Thank you for that, Whit. One thing you can do is you can look at the individual events. And so, okay, we lost MJ as our personal assistant. Oh, how'd that make me feel? Oh, we loved her, but we missed her, but we wanted her to be happy and move on. So you can take the lessons from those individual events, but then what Whitney's zooming out and looking at the overall pattern, like, wow, look at how much health work I did. Look at how many injuries I had. Look at how much travel I did. Look at the big patterns as well as the individual things. So those are good to identify. So thanks, Whit. Who else would like to share? Lori, please come off mute. And then Lisa, you go next.
Okay. I guess a couple of highs for me for the year. Thanks for the picture suggestion because that brings back a lot. I went skydiving for the very first time.
I remember that.
Over Oahu. Let's see here. I got a new vehicle. Thank you for the reminder of that. I just got one in December. Traveled to Egypt. I kissed the Sphinx. And I had my first hot air balloon ride. We were in Egypt as well. But I also had to call the fire department for the first time for a fire. I started outside my own home. That was a first. My youngest son started college. And we had our first, my husband's side of the family got together for the first time in years. It was to celebrate our nephew who has a brain tumor, but it was the first time the family was together since the parents had passed away. So that was significant, although for a sad reason, but significant. So my business did decline simply because I was spending a lot of time traveling and with family. So.
Yeah. And sometimes you can see those patterns. And one of the things I want to say, thank you, Lori, for sharing. You brought up some stuff for me too. Like there was some big family stuff. Oop, there's the timer. Okay, you were ahead of time. I'm putting a 1-minute timer on there. One of the things I want you help me remember is as we're looking at these, these patterns in our life, we're going to today create an ideal 2024. And then next week, we're going to create an ideal week. But ideal is not realistic, is it? By definition, ideal is not real. It's ideal. It's perfect. And that's just not life. Like I had a different plan for 2023 than what happened. I was not expecting the roof to collapse and for this water to come in and for the house to be not expecting that. But having an ideal plan going forward, just like your ideal day might not be exactly how you plan it, but when things come up, if at least you're clear on what your priorities are, what your target is, then you can adjust along the way. So that's why goal setting is not an event. It's an ongoing process or a practice. So we're going to set this ideal out there, but then we're going to give ourselves grace and we're going to realize that life happens. And when a family member dies, business is on hold. Period. I mean, ideally, some people don't even have that luxury. Some people have a job where someone dies and then they have to do it. But many of us have flexible careers where we actually get to design our own life. We get to kind of create our own routines. And even if you do work for somebody else, you do have time that is your own and you want to manage that and prioritize it. So thank you for sharing that, Laura. That was great. And you had some big, big fun wins too. Okay, Lisa, and then we do have time for one more. So if you want to raise your hand, there's a feature on the bottom of Zoom. If you didn't know, it's called reactions. And if you click on reactions and you put this little thing up, it'll let me know. It'll put you at the top of the list and I'll know that you want to speak. So Lisa, you're up.
All right. Well, first I want to say hi to everyone, especially to Lori. Hi, I didn't see you there when the meeting began. Lori and I have been through some things together in business, and it's all been great. What I noticed, my pattern was, oh my gosh, did I ever spend a lot of time with family this year? It didn't occur to me. And of course, that's one of my values. So it was nice to see that I was meeting with that. And, it could be some of the reasons why I feel like I've elevated up a few notches this year. I'm kind of living more consciously and with purpose. And maybe all this time with family has helped me get there. I did have to take on a full-time job remote work. I was working as a coach, kind of commission based for a while, but just to gain some stability and to contribute greatly toward savings, I took on this full-time job, but it is remote work and it is in an area in which I know a lot about. So I'm so grateful that I landed there. Didn't really plan on doing that. This opportunity showed up and it has, it's been good. I'd rather have a little more flexibility in my work, but what I have now, I just can't complain. I'm so grateful. I did get a new car, which was great. And I did more local travel. I have done some extensive travel in my life, but this year it was a little more local, DC, few places in the States.
Me too. I did a
So,
lot more
and
camping this year than traveling on planes, and it felt pretty good
yeah,
to stay
yeah.
around the community.
It really did feel good, and I did decide to stop drinking this year. I stopped drinking years ago for a long, long time, and I've got 8.5 months of sobriety. It took a lot more work than I thought it would, a heck of a lot more work than I thought it would. But through that work, I've gained a lot of new friendships. I'm surrounding myself with the people that elevate and whom I can elevate. And
Beautiful.
I've landed real well. It's been a
Great.
good year.
Can I give you a
Yeah.
little bit of a homework assignment? And goes for everyone. When
Yeah.
you said it was harder than I expected, or it was difficult, go to those challenges, especially the challenges, and say, what was the lessons? Where did I grow? What did Spirit God want me to learn from this experience? Everything happens for a reason, right? So
Yeah.
when you do have those difficult things, go back and take an extra minute in your journal and ask yourself the question, what did I learn from this? What did Spirit want me to take away from this experience? That way you can convert something that was difficult. Like, I have now changed my language about the cabin to it's an upgrade, because the roof is going to be reinforced. Everything's brand new. Power room's brand new. So I'm now calling it an upgrade, not a disaster, right? So the language matters. So I want
Yeah.
to just encourage
Well,
everyone.
I knew health was waiting for me. I knew feeling overall generally was waiting for me. Um, I knew self-respect was waiting for me right around the corner. So I got through some cravings and I got some discomfort and I separated from some folks. And, that was hard, but I knew why I was doing it. Every step of the way, I knew why I was doing what I was doing.
Awesome.
So that
Awesome.
was great. And now I'll reflect on the lessons, all the lessons learned.
Beautiful. Thank you so much,
Absolutely.
Lisa, Whitney, and Lori, for sharing. All right, we're going to go to the next part of the worksheet. And this is still part of step one, the review. But we're going to, actually, it's more of a reflect. We're going to look at step two is reflect. We're going to look at, where am I right now? What's my personal current reality? And we're going to do this using the Trilogy assessment. Those of you that are coaches know that we do this. If you don't, in the chat, I just put a link, and I'm going to ask you to take a few minutes. I'm going to put on some music again. It's a questionnaire that's going to ask you questions about healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy finances. And it's going to give you a score. And once you get that score, I want you to put the score here: healthy body score. It's going to give you a total score, healthy mind score, and healthy finances score. And each area has 6 things. So if of those 6 things, if one of them is off and needs attention, put the 2 areas that you want to improve right there. So this is kind of a snapshot. Where am I right now on a scale of 1 to 10? Healthy body, healthy sleep, healthy weight, healthy environment, all those things. You'll see the link. Click on the link. I'm going to put on some music. We're going to do 4 minutes for this. I'm going to reset the timer for 4 minutes. Everyone understand how to do this? Any questions? It's an online assessment. It's very easy to do. Most of the coaches and clients have already done it.
I had a suggestion, Greg. You don't have to. What if you did someone live And the other people just followed along and wrote down their own. So people that aren't part of Optavia get what you're actually doing. Just a question. Because you could take somebody who hasn't shared and walk them through how to do this. Your call.
I'm gonna, for this time, it's a good idea. For this time, I'm gonna let it be just each person have some quiet time to actually do it for themselves and answer the questions for themselves and think about it. And then remember, once you look at those 6 areas, ask yourself, what are the 2 that I want to put attention to? Okay, go ahead. I'll start the music now.
Can you put the worksheet up on the screen for me? No.
It's a link. If you go to the chat and you click on the link, it'll take you to the online worksheet.
I have a question if you can hear me.
Yeah, go for it, Scott. Go ahead, Scott.
Sorry, my service is a little spotty. The body score, mind score, financial score.
Uh-huh.
So that's 3, but you were saying 6. Am I going all the way down into?
If you look at, I'll pull up the screen. When he was right, let me give you the visual so you can follow along. I'll pull up the screen so you can see. If you look at the each
I'm
category.
sorry, what did you say, Greg? Can you just repeat the first part where you said what's my name?
Whitney was right.
One more time.
If we look at healthy body, do you see this, Scott? There's weight, eating habits, physical activity, sleep, relaxation, and environment. Those are the 6 categories in each one. So you're going to give yourself a score for your weight. So for me right now, I would say my weight's like at an 8. And then my eating habits are probably a 9. And my physical activity is probably a 9. And my sleep is a 9. You know, my relaxation is 8. And my environment is kind of low. Environment's a mess. I put it like a 4. So, and as I do these others, if I do the healthy mind, you know, when I'm done, it's going to ask me to submit, and then it's going to give me a total for each category. It'll give me a summary. So that's what I'm asking you guys to do. And once you get that summary, put it on your worksheet.
Would you just leave that up, Greg? Can you just leave that on the screen? I'm so sorry, but it'd be nice. I was following it and I was going through. I'm on the healthy mind and healthy finances.
Okay.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you so much.
I don't know if you can see the whole thing. I'll see if I can make
That's
it.
perfect. And whatever you did just now was great. Thank you.
There we go. Now you can see all 3. Where'd that music go? I can't do both at the same time.
Drop to a 6.
And once you're done with the scores, you're going to put in your email and it'll send you a report. It'll send you a summary and it'll give you your scores as well. So that's where we're going to take those scores and put them on your worksheet. And when you're done, if you could just put a 2 in the chat, that way I'll know who's done. If we get done, we can move on. Naomi's done. Chris is done. Whitney's done. Awesome. It's best to go with your first gut instinct. Like, don't overthink it. Just trust your instincts. Okay, Lori's done, Jackie's done. Okay, we're getting close here. I'll give it, 1 more minute. Okay, 20 seconds. Okay, coming back to the circle. Let's do a quick little check-in. Wanted to give a few people a chance to share. So looking at this is like the reflect section where you're saying, okay, where am I right now? Did you see any patterns for your healthy body, healthy mind, healthy finances? Kind of, was one score really lopsided? Were they all relatively balanced? Let's hear from a few people who'd be willing to share. What did you notice when you did this little quick well-being assessment? Love to hear from anyone who hasn't shared yet, especially.
I was gonna say, I'm always happy to share if no one else wants to step up.
Why don't you start and then take a minute and start the ball, and then we'll see if anyone
Yeah,
else.
well, I just want to say, because the one guy, Chris, talked about, I didn't realize you were doing this form. So I'm used to from a 1 to a 10. Where are you physically, mentally, and financially? I like breaking it down, but I haven't done that in a while. So that was interesting. I gave myself physically a 7. I went on 2 trips and put on a tiny bit of weight. So, but it was interesting to break down, what am I doing now? Improved, which was great. I gave myself an 8 for mental health. I'm really happy, despite the fact that, as I looked at last year, I haven't worked a lot. Like somebody said that, I haven't invested as much time as I could into serving others. I served myself really well last year, which I'm really grateful for, that I have the freedom and flexibility to do that. So I gave myself 7, 8, and an 8.5 for finances.
Great. Would you be willing to share 1 or 2 things that you're going to work on?
Yeah, well, this year I I like my 8.5 for finances. So to maintain that, I will be needing to go back to work, since I haven't really worked in 6 years, which is great because I have a business that allowed me to take some time off and kind of search and find myself. So I think I found myself. I'm done telling and looking back at a story that no longer serves me. And now I'm looking forward to creation, and it takes as long as it takes. And I forgive myself. And I spent my time well in Puerto Rico and Costa Rica, and now I'm ready to go back to work. So yeah, I've started getting my schedule defined. I think all of my numbers are improving because fortunately my business is health. So
Yeah, I love it. And what you just did is we did a review. You looked back, you did a reflect, which is kind of present, and now you're ready to go forward, and you're ready to like celebrate, be aware of the lessons that, what we're going to, next step is we're going to do some like start, stop, continue. So this is good. So Chris, come off mute, brother.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you, but we can't see you. There you are.
Yeah, so for me, my finance score was the lowest, or at least that's, what I kind of put down. But I've been making a lot of progress lately, and kind of reflecting on everything. In reality, like 3 months ago feels like a start of a new year. Like from, basically September on, it was like a completely different year. Um, really in all avenues, body, mind, finance, everything just kind of started to improve drastically. Um, I had like put in some stuff that I hadn't really done much as far as like like helping community or anything, but I'm actually remembering that that's not entirely true. That since I've become uh you know a personal trainer and trying to do that and having just more freedom and flexibility in my time, I've actually been able to help a lot of friends with various things that I wouldn't have had the time for before. So
Yeah, myself included. I love that workshop you did at Flux, and I've been using those exercises. And I know a lot of the guys in our men's group love getting together. And yeah, you're making a difference in people's lives. So it's good to like double check your assumptions. Like, oh, I thought I really wasn't doing something, but then looking back, maybe you did. Any areas of improvement that you'd be willing to share that you're working on for this year?
um like I said, I guess continuing on just better communication, better honesty, better curiosity, which is, something that I have carried for at least the second half of 2023, and has worked really well for me. And I really, I'm looking forward to continuing that. I think sometimes I do get a little caught up in maybe looking at the first 3 to 5 months of the year were pretty challenging, with breakup situation and all that. And, in reality, looking back, like 2023 was actually pretty freaking rad. And so I'm really looking forward to 2024, and it's only going to get better.
Yes, I love it. All right. Thank you for sharing, Chris. I appreciate it. If anyone else wants to share, we can take one more or we can move on to the next one. We're going to be checking in along the way, so there's going to be more chances to share. But does anyone feel like there's something that came up in this well-being assessment, their Trilogy score, or where they want to work on that they want to kind of publicly commit? Because it's actually nice to put it out there and speak it. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So on page 3, right underneath the scores that we just did, there's this next section, which is called Stop, Start, Continue. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at 2023, looking back, what was missing in 2023 that you want to start doing in 2024. So we're going to do start, and then we're going to go to stop, which is what's not working. What did not work last year? What do I want to eliminate? Habits, time wasters, distractions, toxic relationship, toxic thoughts. What do I need to stop doing that's not serving me? And looking back at 2023, what do I want to continue doing that was working? I'll give you one example for me is I too am stopped drinking. I am a non-drinker. I've changed my identity. That's just not who I am anymore. That's a stop. That's a hard stop. Continue. I'm a breath worker. It's part of my identity. I wake up every day. I did not miss one day in 2023 of doing my breath work, at least 20 to 40 minutes. So what are you going to continue doing? So start, stop, continue. So I'm going to do, we're going to take 10 minutes for this, so you don't have to rush. If you get done early, put a 3 in the chat so I know. But I'm going to set the timer for 10 minutes. I'm going to put on some music and we're going to go through and ask ourselves these questions. What was missing in 2023 that I want to start doing in 2024? What was not working that I want to eliminate or stop doing? And what did work well that I want to keep doing, I want to continue? Okay. So timer. Here we go. Let's play some music. We're about halfway through. We got about 5 minutes left. Put a 3 in the chat if you are done. And I'll keep an eye on that. And if we get a bunch of people done early, we might stop early. If you get done early, it might be good to take a little bio break, use the restroom, grab some water, grab a fueling, grab a snack. We're halfway through and we're jumping into like the most important sections here. So this was all like getting us ready to do the big work, which is our next section, our next 2 sections. Okay, 2 minutes left. Start, stop, continue. Think about the different areas of life. What do you need to start doing in the area of health? What do you need to start doing in the area of healthy mind? What about healthy finances? Do you need to start a savings program? Do you need to start paying off debt? Stop. What do you need to stop doing or eliminate? Bad habits, time wasters, distractions. Lisa mentioned limiting or eliminating some relationships. Are there people that are pulling you down or not on purpose? Maybe you need to, maybe not end it, but maybe limit it. Maybe slow down the connection. Or maybe change the type of connection. Maybe you only meet them at church where there's not going to be alcohol. Or maybe maybe you create a special place where you can see them for a period of time and it's going to be okay. Are there any thoughts that you need to eliminate, or beliefs or fears? You need to cut back on social media, scrolling, politics, news, those things that fire you up but don't really serve. Maybe you need to start something. Maybe you want to volunteer. You want to get more active. Okay, 10 seconds. Let's just wrap it up. And then we will come back to the community page. And if you can, turn your camera on. We're going to get a little feedback here. Same thing. We're just going to take a minute per person. I'll set the timer. Any couple people want to share, 2 or 3 people want to share. Naomi raised her hand. Terrific. Naomi, go ahead. Why don't you kick us off?
So things that I wrote that I'm going to start doing is with my business coach, who I now have, that changed last year, Larry Estebo. We're going to be doing live events at his clinics. He is a chiropractor. And so we only did a couple last year, but it's something that we're going to be doing routinely this year. And he's actually adding another clinic, so it'll be another place to do it.
That was on my list. Live events, they're back.
Yeah. And the 2 we did, at least now we kind of figured out logistics, so now as we do them, it'll be easier. So I want to reach out to more friends. I have friends I haven't seen even, back from COVID, and started doing that this year, but I want to really keep doing that this year. My husband will be retiring this year, so we're really, really looking at our budget, just to be really clear on everything with our budget. So really writing everything down. So things I'm not, or things I want to stop doing is certain family interactions. We had a really rough year last year selling my dad's house and some of the family members with that. So trying, kind of like you said, changing that dynamic with certain people to make it positive, and then try to just really get away from the negative. Emotional eating this time of year was hard on me because it was the anniversary of my dad's death, the first anniversary in December. So it just has been more recent, not ongoing, but a tough year because we also sold his house and had to go through all that. But things that were working well, I've been doing the spinal rehab therapy through my chiropractor. It's going great. My x-rays have shown a significant improvement. My hiking, we have a puppy that we rescued, and so it started dog training. I do a daily Bible study. We started doing family events at our house because we now no longer have my dad's house. So had 2 family Christmases here. And then volunteering. I volunteer at our church's food shelf. I volunteer as a trail patrol. And I also facilitate a women's cancer support group. And then also want to continue with the power hour because I think power hour just really helps. So.
Amen. Thank you for saying that. You know, Naomi, you made me remember a couple things I want to celebrate with you. Make sure that each of you have at least a couple things to eliminate. It's so easy when you're setting goals to add more, but you do need to make room and make space. And oftentimes that means eliminating something that's a distraction or that's not adding value. So after we do this next section, when we get really clear on our vision and our goals, you might want to come back and look at your starts and your continues and your stops and make sure that they're aligned with your goals for 2024. So far, we haven't really set any tangible, specific goals for 2024. So I might just plant a seed in your mind. You might want to come back, and after you get really clear and you come up with your handful of priority goals, is there anything you need to start, stop, continue that will align with those goals? So thank you for bringing that up. Anyone else? We have time for one more share here. Who hasn't shared yet? What do you want to start, stop, or continue? Anyone? Okay, well, let's just move on then. We've got the funnest part, the two big sections here coming up. So now we're on page 4, step 3, which is visualize. And what this is the granddaddy of this, probably this process. For me, this has the biggest impact emotionally and spiritually. So one of the keys to be able to create an effective goal is to make sure that you're clear on your vision and your desired outcome. And that means to feel it, experience it. That's how you activate the law of attraction, is through energy, right? So having a goal just written down that doesn't inspire you and doesn't activate you emotionally is probably not going to motivate you to take action. And when things get tough, you're going to have distractions and you're going to say, oh, I was too busy, I never got to it. So one way to do that is to do this exercise. Show of hands, how many of you heard of NLP, neuro linguistic programming? Okay, a couple people. So neuro-linguistic programming is a science that basically says is what you talk about verbally and in your head, the language that you use, creates neural pathways. So that's, like I said, changing my dialogue around this is a crisis to this is an upgrade. That's huge, right? This is a disaster to this is a challenge. That's linguistic programming. But there's also things that you can do with your nervous system to program it. And this is an exercise we're going to do, which has to do with called spatial anchoring. And it's timeline. We're going to travel in time. And so I'm going to encourage you to get a couple things ready before we start this. So you're going to need your worksheet. You're going to need a pen. Ideally, have a highlighter as well. And I would really encourage you to have your cell phone with the voice memo. Those of you that have an iPhone, it's this one right here. And it's just a voice recorder. And you just hit record. And what I'm going to have you do is to make sure that you're on mute. I'll just hit mute all real quick just to make sure. But I want to make sure that everyone's on mute. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to walk you through and prompt you through an exercise. Now, I love my mom. I'm such a mommy's boy. But one of her phrases that stuck with me all these years is you get out of life what you put into it. Right? And I'm going to say this, you get out of this exercise what you put into it. So if you're sitting back with your feet up and you're kind of going through the exercise and you're answering the questions, it's not going to be the same as if you do exactly what I'm about to instruct you to do. I'm going to instruct you to stand up. And I'm going to instruct you to get grounded in today, that today is where you're standing. And then I'm going to ask you to take a couple breaths, and then I'm going to ask you to step forward, one big step. And that's going to represent psychologically and spiritually you taking a year step into the next year. So you're going to go from January 4th to we'll go to December 31st of 2024. And we're going to have you physically step into the year and then look back. And then I'm going to prompt you to describe the year you've already experienced. And I want you to think about the language. So it's important that you say, I did, or I now have, or I accomplished, or I am, because you're looking back on the past. You're not setting a goal of the future. You're not saying I will, or I want to, or I desire. You're going to actually jump to the end of 2024 and you're going to look back and you're going to as if I'm interviewing you, like I'm on, actually the first time that somebody did this to me, I call him my spiritual CEO. I was working at a .com company. It's called bamboo.com. We took it public. It was a very successful company. And he was the most spiritual CEO I ever met with. And one time I met with him and he was asking me about what's next, what's my future. And I swear to God, we were having lunch and he said, Greg, I had a little exercise. You'd be willing to do this? Imagine I'm CNN and I'm a reporter and you just created this amazing business. And it's 10 years from now. Tell me how you got here. Tell me your story. How did you build this amazing business? Describe the business like it's here now. And I talked about this wellness company that I wanted to start, and I wanted to help people with healthy body, mind, and finances. And I wanted to have this virtual business where I could travel. I wanted to, live in nature, and I wanted to be able to do all these things. And so I described what I have now. And this was like 30 years ago. So this is a process that really, really works. Now, this is going to be like a smorgasbord. It's going to be like an unlimited wish list. So the only context really is 1 year. Now you can also do this if you want for 3 years, but for today, we're just going to do 2024 and I encourage you to come back and do this for 3 years. Do the same exercise where you step 3 years into the future and you talk about now it's 2027. And I'm describing my life. And I'm going to give you the prompts. The prompts are here, but don't worry about it. What I want you to do is I want you to stand up. Get your recorder ready. And I'm just going to kind of prompt you with questions. And when I say record, what I encourage you to do is hit record. And then I'm going to walk you through the steps of stepping into the future. And I'm going to ask you these questions. Okay. So you guys ready? Stand up. First, get grounded. Let's take a couple grounding breaths. You're here today, January 4th, 2023. Now what I want you to do is take a step into the future, one big step. Now it's December 31st, 2024, and you're looking back, hit record. You're looking back on your best year ever. And I'm going to interview you and I want you to describe it like it already happened. So let's start with what were your big highlights? What are your major accomplishments? And just speak those right into your phone and your recorder. What were your big highlights in 2024? What did you do? What were your wins? Describe the different areas of your trilogy. What's your ideal health? How did you improve your health? What does your level 10 health look like? Let's look at the other areas of your life with your healthy mind. Describe your relationships. What's the highlights? What are the improvements in your relationship? Your romantic relationships, your family, your friends, your social network. What were your highlights at work? Did you enjoy the work that you do? Did you find meaning and purpose? What kind of contributions, social activities, community events, contributions? Travel. Where did you go? What did you see? How about your hobbies, your fun, your play? Did you upgrade anything? Did you get a new mountain bike? Did you start a new garden? Where did you invest your time? In nature, spirituality wise? Any new practices you started? Any groups that you got together for support? Did you offer support to others in need? Let's zone in on your healthy finances. How are you doing with your income? Where did you grow your business? How did you help more people? What was the impact you had? Describe your savings, your investments. Any new toys? Any investments that you made? Any donations that you gave? Gifts? Did you create some special memories for people in your life? Did you take somebody special on a special trip or a special date or create a special party for them? Let's dive a little deeper on your business. What specifically did you do to grow your business? How much growth was there? What's your monthly income? December 31st, 2024. How many clients do you have? How many products? Maybe you're offering products. Maybe you're doing services. Did you get a promotion? Be specific. Now let's do one of my favorite things. Describe to me your optimal day. Your magical day. What is it like from start to finish? You wake up, and what's your morning routine? How are you providing self-care? How do you provide care to the people in your life? How do you integrate and balance your fitness, your personal development, your work life. What's that ideal day look like during the middle of the day? What's that ideal afternoon look like? And now it's evening time. You're getting ready. You're settling in. You're closing up your projects. You're maybe having dinner. Maybe you're connecting with people that you care about. Maybe you're calming down. You're getting ready to settle in for your evening routine. What's your evening routine? Now, for you to have accomplished all these things, you had to be disciplined. You had to be focused. There might have been some things you had to let go of. What did you have to eliminate or let go of in order to create this phenomenal year? What did you stop doing that wasn't serving you? What did you start doing? What are those new habits that you've integrated? Now this has become a part of who you are, your new identity. What have you started doing? New habits, daily, weekly, monthly? Do you have a date night? Do you have your spiritual routines? What have you done to integrate and take good care of yourself? And only a few minutes left. Let's bring it home. What were your biggest challenges? You had to overcome some challenges. What were those challenges? What were your biggest obstacles and how did you overcome them? Was it a mindset challenge? Was it time management? Was it letting go of fear? Was it letting go of habits? Was it letting go of people? Was it changing your environment? What was the biggest obstacle and how did you overcome it? And then from that obstacle, where did you grow? How did it help you grow? Where did you grow the most as a leader, as an individual, as an entrepreneur? Where did you grow the most? Let's celebrate that growth. And this last question is so important. How does it make you feel looking back on this amazing year and the impact you've had? First, to the impact of other people, those around you, your family, your clients, your friends, the people that matter most. What was the impact of you growing, working, being disciplined, having this focus? How does it feel to have that kind of an impact? And how does it feel for you? What are you most proud of? You look at yourself December 31st, 2024. What are you most proud of? Okay, so take the last 10 to 20 seconds and wrap up your thoughts. Finish your recording, and when you're done, go hit stop. And then let's intentionally come back, step back to where you started from to today. And now it's January 4th, 2023. And I want to share something. This is something that I believe wholeheartedly because I've done this for 20 years and I've seen it happen to many people. Some of you have done this with me before. Is spiritually, you just experienced your own future. You had a spiritual experience. It's almost like you go somewhere on your iPhone and you're in a map and you put a pin in that location so you can find it again. That pin, you just spiritually pinned this ideal future. And there's a part of your body, your mind, your heart that knows and will know all year long whether you're on the right track towards those destinations you just described or not. So you just spiritually pinned this beautiful ideal future for 2024, and just trust that. Now we're going to do some more work with this. This is like a big buffet of ideas. Like we just put a lot of stuff on the table here. We dreamed. We gave ourselves a chance to visualize and vision, right? And dream. But before we're going to take some harvest. We're going to hear from you guys. But now after we do this, we're going to actually refine this. That's our next step. But on what the next exercise here is, on the worksheet, you'll see a section, I believe it's page 5 and 6. These are two big blank pages. And it's basically, it says my year in advance. It's December 31st, 2024, and I just had my best year ever, ... And now what you want you to do is from your memory, and you can do this later if you want to go into more detail, you're welcome to come back and refine this. But just for now, you just recorded it. Now let's take a few minutes and let's transfer and write what you just recorded down. Let's write it on these worksheets and let's capture it. And then we're going to go to prioritizing. So this next step, I'm going to give you 6 minutes. And what I want you to do is using your memory, not so much recording and going back to the actual recording. You can do that later. But for now, just use your memory of what are the most important things, the highlights for 2024, and write them down on your worksheet. What were your big highlights, your big important things that you did or that you changed? And let's start that. So I'm going to put some music on. Let me start the timer. Okay, the timer's on. Okay, so just jot down your year in advance. What are your big, important things that you accomplished? And also include how it made you feel and why it was important. So if you did something big in 2024, how did it make you feel and why was it important? Isn't this fun? How you guys doing on time? Do you need some more? Do you need another couple minutes, another song? Put a thumbs up or a 4 in the chat if you need a couple more minutes. Whitney's voting for a minute or two more. Okay, I'm going to add 2 more minutes. Okay, 1 more minute. Again, you can come back and fine tune this later, but we're going to. Okay, start wrapping up. And then we're going to go to very fun and important part. Step 4. Okay, guys, this is where the rubber meets the road. We're going to take this menu, this smorgasbord of ideas that we had. And for now, my experience in goal setting is if you have too many goals, it just becomes unmanageable. But since we only have 3 categories, body, mind, and finances, it's manageable to have 1 or 2 goals in each category. And then once you get those done, you can work on the next one. So my recommendation would be, let's start with 2 goals in each category. So 2 healthy body goals, 2 healthy mind goals, and 2 healthy finance goals. Okay. So that's this next step is, and what we're going to do is we're going to focus on SMART goals. Okay. We're going to focus on goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, meaning it's relatively realistic within the time frame of 1 year, and relevant, meaning it's important to you. Relevant is like, is it aligned with my values? Is it important to me? Is it a top priority? And then time bound. So the phrase, when you write these goals, it's going to have this formula. I am, I blank this specific measurable goal by December 31st, 2024. So it's going to have the description of what you accomplished, specific, measurable, attainable, and the time bound will be this year. Now, if you notice that you did some goals and you said, I want to buy a new house, and it came out in your mind dump, it came out in your vision experience, that's okay, capture it, but just, it's not for this year. It might go on a vision board for 10 years or 3 years or whatever. So those goals are relevant. They're important. They came out of your spiritual, desires. But for now, we're honing in on 2024. So let's say that you had a big goal and it was to buy a house. Well, maybe the 2024 portion of that goal is to save up for the down payment or save up for 50% of the down payment. So we're going to have a specific measurable goal within the time frame of 2024, and we're going to do 3 areas: healthy body, healthy mind, healthy finances. One of the easiest ways to do this is to take your highlighter and look at the goals that you've written down and circle or highlight the ones that are most important to you. So start with that, circle or highlight on this sheet, the one you just did, the big mind dump. Circle or highlight some of the goals that are most important. Pick your top 2 or 3, and then you're going to have to narrow it down and pick 1 or 2 for each of these areas: body, mind, and finances. Okay. So I'm going to give you, let's see, I'm going to give you 8 minutes to work on that. 8 minutes to identify and rephrase. And I want you to write them down on that form: 2 body, 2 mind, and 2 finance goals, and try to phrase them in that formula. I have created, or I am blank, 175 pounds with 10% body fat. My waistline is 32. I've got plenty of energy, and I've done that by December 31st. Whit, did you have a question?
I just want to share 2 things. One is I'm actually doing this in my Google Docs and thought maybe we could get this. Maybe we can have someone put it on Google Docs so that we can just go in and type it all in next year and it's all outlined for me. But the final question is, when is this closing? 6:30?
Yeah, 15 minutes.
Okay, just checking. So we'll have time to debrief and get to hear everybody and what they.
Yeah, we're going to do a quick little debrief, and then I'm going to send you off with a little bit of homework. Hey guys, time to get clear on your goals. Two healthy body, 2 healthy mind, and 2 healthy finance goals. Hopefully you're done with your healthy body and maybe moving on to your healthy mind goals. Relationships, fun, travel. What's going to make you happy? Healthy mind, spiritual.
Look, if you had one shot, one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted, one moment that you captured, just let it slip. Yo, his palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti, he's nervous, but on the surface he looks calm and ready to drop bombs. But he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so loud, he opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. He's choking how? Everybody's joking now. The clock's run out, time's up, over, loud. He snapped back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, there goes gravity. Choke. He's so mad, but he won't give up. Daddies, he know he won't have it. He knows it's all back to these ropes. It don't matter. He's dope. He knows that, but he's broke. He's so stagnant. He knows, and he goes back to this mobile home. That's when it's back to the lab again, yo. This old rhapsody better go capture this moment and but don't piss it. In the music, the moment you won't, you better never let go. Only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity once in a lifetime. Do it. In the music, the moment you won't, you better never let go. Only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity
Healthy finances, your business goal, personal development, where are you going to grow?
Make me king as we move toward a new world order. A normal life is boring, but superstardom is close to postmortem. It only grows harder, homie grows hotter. He blows, it's all over. These is all on him. Coast to coast shows, he's known as the globe trotter. Lonely roads following, knows he's grown farther from home. He's no father. He goes home and barely knows his own daughter. The whole thing knows, cause here goes the cold water. These people don't want him no more. He's cold product. They moved on to the next.
If you're done, put 5 in the chat.
It unfolds, I suppose it's old partner, but the beat goes on. Let it up, let it in the music, the moment you won't, you better never let go. Only get one shot, do not miss your chance.
Yeah, you guys are rocking.
The music, the moment you won't, you better never let go. Only get one shot, do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity once in a lifetime. Do it. Games don't change when you call rage.
Those of you that aren't done yet, you've got a minute and a half. Rock it out. And if you get done, put the 5 in there so we can move on.
Step right in the next cipher. Best believe somebody's paying a Pied Piper. All the pain inside amplified by the fact that I can't get by with my 9 to 5 and I can't provide the right type of life for my family. Cause man, these He stands for white diapers, and it's no movie, it's no Mackay Piper. This is my life, and these times are so hard, and it's getting even harder trying to be.
Last minute. Clock's coming down.
Another damn monotony's gotten me to the point I'm like a snail. I've gotten to formulate a plot or end up in jail.
All right, Scott's done.
Failure's not. Mama, love you, but this trail has got to go. I cannot grow old and sail these lines. So here I go, it's my shot. Feet fail me not. This may be the only opportunity that I got. You better sit down with the music, the won't hit you, won't hit you.
Yeah. All right, guys, good job. Yes. All right, so we are at the home stretch. This is the chance for us to kind of integrate it all. As I said, you've got these worksheets, you'll have the recording, you can go back, you can go deeper, you can take more time and you can flush these out. I highly recommend that you do that and that you get with a coach, me, another coach, a buddy, accountability buddy, and review this. Refine this. This is step one, is to get really clear on what your goals are and then get them dialed into these three categories: body, mind, and finances. So let's take 5 minutes and do a little harvest. What were some of your ahas? Any shares that people, what's your biggest takeaway? Anyone who wants to share, we'll just give you 1 minute per person. We'll keep it to 5 minutes and then we're going to close it up with the final announcements. Anyone want to share? Go ahead, Whit.
Well, I always love this process and I look forward to sitting down to do more of it. But, you know, I went really big and dumped all the things that I want to create. I have this $20 million vision that I stepped into this last year, where what does it feel like to have $20 million, and really feeling what that security, trust, it just allows me so much freedom. And then what I did was I broke it down into reality so that I can really look at what are the steps that I need to take to continue to feel as secure and comfortable as I do. And then the physical, you know, it was just fun to go through and really clear and detailed on what I am doing this year. I'm just so happy. I can't believe how lucky I feel. You know, the past few years I've had some health stuff, and to be as healthy and happy and financially free and abundant as I already am, and now to go from here to here with trust, a knowing, and this crew, and you know, even it feels like I'm starting over, but I'm starting over at who I am now compared to who and where I was.
I love it. I love it. And that's why we did the harvest. We went back and we celebrated and we acknowledged where we are and how far we've come. Because it's like, you know, have 1 foot in gratitude and 1 foot in desire. It's like both, you know, really coming from gratitude and celebration while we're creating the future that we really want to create. So I love it. And if you do stretch yourself big, and maybe it's not a 1 year goal, but maybe it's a $20 million is a 5 year goal. But if you start thinking that big, what it does is it gets you to think outside the dots. It gets you to think differently and say, okay, if I really want to do this, I got to change dramatically. I got to try some big different things. Anyone else want to share?
I just want to say one thing. It's the feeling, what it feels like. It's not the thinking for me. It's what does that feel like?
Yeah.
And then what does that get me to take action on?
Yeah.
So
And that's what this book, The Magic, is all about. It gets you to feel grateful and to like activate the law of attraction. So I would definitely recommend this book. Chris, you got your hands up. Love to hear from you, bro.
Yep. Sorry, it's really dark in my van right now. Yeah, I mean, for me in all of this, you know, and something that I've just been recently is that like I do okay with like kind of setting goals, but it's coming up with the processes to achieve the goal that is something that I know I struggle with. Certain things are easier than others, right? I can set a goal for fitness. Okay, I want to be able to, squat 180 pounds. Like, okay, like I can, develop a program to get to that goal. But like growing my business, and this is, I'm used to being an employee and showing up and doing my work and leaving, but now I have to like, create and synthesize what success and income looks like, how to get there. And I don't know exactly how to do that. And like how to market myself in the best ways to get more clients and blah blah blah. So, there's a lot of ways that I struggle with, knowing how to, figure out the process to get to the goal. So, I mean, that's why I'm here doing this workshop, is to hopefully kind of hone some of those skills a bit better.
Excellent. And the same process that you use to do a fitness goal is the same process you would do reverse engineering. Basically, you set the outcome, you work backwards, you say, okay, what are the key components I would need to do? Part of what we did today is just like giving yourself permission to dream big, like Whitney was talking about, and to start getting these things on paper, getting them narrowed down into like, what are the ones that are most important I want to focus on this year. Next week's exercise is going to be on more execution. So that might be really filling in some of the blanks for you, Chris, as far as how do we structure the process to get there. One thing that I believe in, I said it earlier, is that, this is a process, not an event. Goal setting is an outcome. I do it every year. I do it every quarter. I do it every month. I do it every week on Sunday, and I do it every day on my 3x5 card. So I am tracking these big goals annually, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily. And so I'm going to bring it down to the weekly and daily next week. I also wanted to let you know how to integrate this is to join a challenge. We have a health challenge right now. I put the link in the chat. It's not Optavia specific, but most of the people will be in Optavia. We have a great program. We have a great community, and we encourage each other. And so if you're interested, check that out. It's a 30-day challenge to get you focused. In addition, I mentioned this workshop next week. I'm going to put that link in there right now. So the workshop next week is called Life and Priority Management. It's how to execute and activate on these goals. And there's a link, there's a Facebook event page for that one. If you click on that link right now in the chat, it'll pull up a window, and then you can register for that later. There's also worksheets for that. And we're going to go through this process, which is kind of listed here. There's a couple of things I listed on the worksheet that you have today. It talks about blocking your time, getting your chunks of your day, your week outlined. What are your habits? What are your boulders? And then there's also this great exercise of creating a mind map or a vision board. So I would definitely encourage you to take some time to watch the video on how to create a vision board. And once you have your goals, to make it more visual, is to create a vision board that you can put right on your wall, and or on your fridge or somewhere where you can keep it top of mind. Because part of it's going to be tracking, part of it's also going to be doing the exercises. Scott's asking, what time is the January 11th? Same time, 4:30 Pacific. If you click on the link, it'll have all the details. You can register on the Facebook event, and you can get the form on the Facebook event. Last thing I wanted to say, yeah, is do that creating a vision board exercise. That's super fun. And any last shares, any last takeaways before we wrap up the call? How you guys feeling? You motivated? You feeling clear? Stoked? I love it. I love it. The next one, yeah, Naomi, the next one will be recorded just like this one was. It's more fun to do it live. Jackie's inspired. I love it.
And Greg, who can we invite the next one to? Can we invite clients, everyone? Okay, good.
Clients, coaches.
Even though they didn't come to this, it's still okay
family,
for them.
Facebook friends, everyone.
But they didn't need to see this for them to come to the next one.
No, they're connected, but they're independent. Like they could get their ideal week, and they can get their other goals and some structure there. But it would be best if they did this first, but it's not mandatory.
And you're going to give us the recording so we can send it to people with
you could always send somebody the recording of tonight as well. All right, you
Cool.
guys will have a great night. We thank
you,
you for joining. Thank you for participating, playing full out. I'd love to hear some of your goals. And in the event page, I'm going to post the link of the recording there. Let's put some chats in there. Let's talk about what we're learning and let's inspire other people that haven't maybe seen it yet. Let's get the word out to other people, clients, friends.
I have a request. The people who are part of Optavia, would you mind going in Team Wellness when you have a moment and just doing a quick little live video and saying what you got from this and why you recommend people jump on the call that Greg's going to do for the schedule. What is it called, Greg? Not goal setting. It's how to do my schedule, right?
It's life and
Time
priority
management.
management.
Whoever said that knows. But I think that would be really helpful if you don't mind giving him a testimonial. I'll go give a testimonial too, but it's just, I think, a great way for us to practice doing videos, a testimonial, and promoting the next event because it's always the best.
I would
It was so
appreciate
fun
that.
to see everybody. Mwah. Thank you.
All right, you guys, great night. Love you. And we'll see you next week, hopefully.
Okay, thanks.